successful pick throughout the course of the day, and Sejuani, another champion that is seeing high presence across day one of World.
Yeah, so let's see what they're actually looking to utilize for themselves here, because you can match it yourself. You just want to lock in that lock in a jungler here, and then just say, you know what, there's still quite a few AD carries up and available. We're going to wait afterwards, but it could also just be the fact that you want to contest on the Misfortune immediately by either going for a Tristana or an Aphelios to try and see if you can match her in lane instead, but Misfortune still very, very strong on this patch. So let's see what DFM has planned out for their draft here. Looks like they're going to secure that Aphelios. Question is, do you feel like you need to pair yourself up with a support right now? Because you are still against Loud, who's of course sitting with that red side and has the access for that counter pick on the support role.
When I look at Yutapon as well, I cannot see any games played of Aphelios this summer. He has played a number 7 throughout the course of spring, so not a lot of recent picks. Not going to be too unfamiliar with that option. And I know it was one of the potential counters we were talking about in the previous game. Poppy will be the last champion secured here for DFM.
Yeah, I mean, spring everyone was about, like, had to play Aphelios. If you're a pro player, an AD carry that had to go through spring, you had to know how to play this. So Yutapon, of course, no stranger to the champion either. And the question is, do you feel like you need to lock in a support here in 3 and start banning away some counters if you're looking for the engaged supports that we've seen so many teams default to? Or are you going to look for a counter pick in the mid lane against the Taliyah?
What option do you prefer to see in this scenario, knowing that tinowns has already had one of his champions removed and obviously the bans are possible too?
I mean, looking at yourself on red side, you already know what the enemy mid laner is picking. So just getting that for yourself is great. You can blind pick on 4 here if you want to keep the flex alive on the Sejuani. I just feel like you send it top and you pick your jungler or pick your top laner and you keep that counter pick alive for the Misfortune, just because you can already see what they're looking for from the side of DFM. You have a facilitating jungler, you have a facilitating mid laner, you have a carry in the AD carry position. So I think it just makes a lot of sense if you can shut that down.
Now, let's find out what happens in the second phase events.
I love that. This is a classic strategy from a lot of pro players that goes back to, let me hover a champion in the first part of the draft phase. They were hovering Yone, and now it's the first champion the enemy is going to think about when they go into the second ban phase.
Do you think it makes sense, though? Would it have complemented the composition for DFM, or do you think they're in their heads? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think like sometimes it may give you too many things to play for, but Yone is still one of these champions that actually functions very well in a team fight, unlike a lot of other bruisers, so it could make sense. Definitely could. But there's also a lot of other champions that still will make sense from the side of DFM, like Dion coming out.
Okay, crystal ball time. What do you want to see locked in? I know you've talked about the counter pick option. Maokai secured here for Robo on Loud?
No, Fire
That's what I thought. Evi Maokai. Will it happen? Will it be banned or stolen away? Horn was the next one. One last option here. Both DFM have Loud now slowed the drafting phase down significantly.
Yeah,
in comparison to phase 1, figuring things out and also trying to figure out what will the other team select.
What you have to realize is that jungle bans was a big attention in the first draft phase, and the fact that Trundle was banned out on 3 gave a lot of access to Steel to go for the Poppy, because that meant a lot of the counters are out of the window. It's also the reason they decided to say, you know what, we're going to ban Olaf as well and make sure all the Poppy counters are just going to be out of the way. Because what's left up, you go for a Jarvan into the Poppy. No, that's not going to be the case. Maybe a cheeky Skarner, but I'm not actually too sure if Croc plays it. They might also just default to the Sejuani, put it in the jungle, seeing as they have 4th picked their support here.
And of course, that Amumu now secured for Sheos. There's a lot of go forward buttons. The Sejuani, a lot of Sleepy Trouble Bubble, the Amumu, and layer on top with Bullet Time. Aatrox is locked in. Robo will now either get that Sejuani. I want to know if you like the option into it as Harp gets the Alistar, or do you want to see a different pick? Because we talked backstage about running some aggressive options into Aatrox, at least being able to contest it.
I mean, this is the game where you say maybe we just want to play the side. The problem with that is that even DFM still has a mid laner that has incredibly huge, quick access rather, to the side lane with the Taliyah wall. But I think if you have a flex and you wait to 5 pick for your top laner, you want something that really makes sense. You want something that secures you the matchup, and I think you just have to slam something that works in the top lane. Instead, they've actually decided to lock in the Viego, and this is where I don't always fully understand what they're looking for. Because if you already had the counter pick for one of your lanes where you could have just picked the jungler immediately, and then you could have gotten the support counter pick instead, now you just gave them access to put themselves in a good position for DFM by giving them the Alistar into the Amumu. So I think on red side, Loud didn't fully utilize what they could have gotten here.
And the question is, will it punish them, of course? Will this be something that comes back to hurt them? Find out how this Viego and Sejuani play out, because I think that's the crux of this in terms of where you wanted to run potential, counters a strong word, but like answers into what is being presented to you. And I do think it is very crucial, it's very fair to be critical of a team that's already lost a game, playing a little uncharacteristic from what we saw from them regionally or domestically. And I want to zoom out and say, how do you expect the early game to play out? Where should we focus our attention?
I think early game, you focus on DFM and what they have to offer as well, because there's a lot of ways to find ganks. Steel can go into any lane and find kill pressure if he wants to. From the side of
game, or making their debut on the world stage in 2022, the exact same roster from MSI. High expectations, I think, for the squad based on the performance we saw from Loud earlier today. They obviously want to try bounce back, and Robo got that very early Sejuani. I think, go for it.
I think for DFM as well, it's a bit of a redemption run you're looking for, because while you're saying there is a lot of expectations coming through, they didn't have the best track record at MSI, right? They came to the tournament and they won in 5, as you said. So it's obviously a rebuilding phase. You really have to put into the context that when DFM played in 2021 Worlds, they had the equivalent of Exodia that Japan could really bring to... It's true, what Japan could really bring to the World Championship. And them reaching main stage was by far the best thing that could happen. Like, if you expected more, you'd be on too much copium. So I think, like, now coming back to finding the correct building blocks, that's really what you're looking for.
I really wish you'd have listened earlier and used the Voltron reference or Megazord instead of Exodia.
Yeah, but you can't really keep it repetitive. You gotta find new stuff. Give me more stuff to work with.
You gotta repeat the golden oldies, the classics. All right.
Maybe you're just not up to the task, Trevor.
Guldborg, sassy.
I know.
Sassy. Will DFM be sassy in this early game? They've started off, got that bottom lane helping out Steel on the Poppy. Got the Phase Rush in his back pocket. Keystones were highlighted just a moment ago. And Sejuani now making his way down to that bottom lane, keeping an eye on Croc. He's starting in the right eastern quadrant on that blue buff secured. No real surprises, and Robo already jumping forward.
Luck with it. So obviously, me and Jojo's out to explore. Oh, well.
We are back in game. Obviously, we are having a bit of fun. We're not 100% certain how long those pauses are. We don't intend it to be disrespectful to DFM or Loud, but to make sure that we don't, overdo all of the stories, we'll have a little bit of fun with it. So we're back onto the Rift. I was trying to draw some attention here to Steel and to Croc in terms of some of their pathing and where they could play, as once again, a bit of engage on this bottom lane. Croc will find that bandage toss, and the double up is going to chunk Yutapon backwards. So I think somewhat to be expected in the early game engage once you get that CC down.
Yeah, what I think is really curious is the fact that both junglers has identified that they want to be pathing on towards the top side in the early game. You can actually even see it on the pings right now. Croc is skipping his own red buff and he's moving into the blue buff off Steel instead. In terms of lane priority right now, Robo is pushing in. Ward is available for Croc. This could actually get dicey if moves are coming through, but it's looking okay so far.
Jin not going to spot out. Steel will step forward. Smite Fight is available here. Steel now being bullied. tinowns has made his move forward as well. Yaharong is going to step backward. So Croc will steal that blue buff away, reset the timer on the one he's already secured, and put this Poppy from DFM behind. I really liked how tinowns was able to push that wave and step in to at least potentially back up Croc if anything played out.
How good is this game sense? Does he know that you would just pop Sweeper afterwards? He's not been spotted of it yet. That's why Steel activated the Sweeper. Oh, baited by observers.
Was so good. That was exceptional from the observers. But I also think it does show, what options could have been available to Croc. And then as he backed away, it's one of those things where could have been amazing. Didn't work out that time around.
Now look at Robo though, because he does not have flash on the Sejuani, and Steel rides around the corner.
Oh, that steadfast presence is huge! So well played. Both junglers were looking at path top. Steel was denied his blue buff, and he denies Loud first blood.
And also a bit disrespectful from Robo. You can see his trinket actually came off. If he waited around a little longer, he could have gotten that ward down. And also just by the process of elimination, Steel could only be top at that point.
Yeah. I mean, Rob's day not going to a great start for him. In the first game, conceding first blood. I think some kudos there to Steel. He managed to secure the kill. Gonna have that recall instant teleport back for Aatrox and Ebby in the top lane. And every time we look at this bottom lane pushed in, so all three lanes pushed a little bit by Loud, and it was Robo that was punished.
Yeah, and you can see, I think Robo wanted to come down. He wanted to set up, but just never got the chance because of the pressure from Ebby. And then knowing that there's no mobility available or that he's just not going to react in time to the flash Q coming through, Ebby set it up beautifully with Steel coming around to just ground him down.
And no flash for him either. Teleport Ignite for that Sejuani top. ultimately getting punished for that. Yutapon and Harp this time round at a very minor CS advantage. Push this wave out. Sejuani has recalled. Going to start to roam back down to rejoin his bot laner. And I think the Loud, they got to be a little bit careful. We have seen Aatroxes today already running away with the game. But also, once these champions hit level 6, the engage power is absolutely fantastic. And if Croc is able to steal away Aatrox or even that Aphelios' soul also can be hugely impactful.
Oh yeah, definitely with the Aatrox there. Like, just moving forward, you don't really need the ultimate, but just being able to have that extra CC in your kit after finding a kill, that's going to be huge. But you're waiting for it. From the side of Loud, you're building up. Slowly but surely, you're waiting the anticipation. You're not really looking to make all the plays just yet, but once you start hitting level 6 in your champions, that's where you start getting action. But the same can be said for Yaharong in the mid lane. You're level 6 on the Taliyah now. Once you start picking up a lost chapter, once you have full points in your queue, that's where you start to shove in the lanes. But for now, it's actually Loud making the first move.
Again, managing to get the damage on the Yutapon. Bandage toss onto Harp. Continue to hammer. I mean, Brance is just destroying, completely untouched that fight because DFM are running for their lives.
And I'm just so curious as well because finding counters to the misfortune in terms of the AD carry position is actually going to be a little bit difficult. You want something that can challenge her like the Tristana with mobility, but if you're just there handshaking with auto attacks or standing behind minions when Qmax is the thing now, you are just not going to be winning out on the trades. And now with finally having that bot lane priority, forcing Yutapon and Harp to go for the reset, Loud is just going to be starting up the first objective with the neutral Drake here. And this is 6 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. This is a brilliant time to pick up this first one.
I'm starting to get nervous for DFM already because much like our previous game, Chiefs, DFM's early game and getting leads in the early game is kind of how they've picked up their wins, right? And now, Guldborg, how would you put it in terms of their decision-making late game for DFM? Because they're already starting to be pressured and pushed around.
Hold it.
Trouble bubble. And Abby will be conceding the next kill here. Now pick that one up. Robo gets it.
Yeah, there you have it. They might even continue the skirmishing. The thing you have to realize is that they're just very early setting off for the Herald skirmishing, if that's what they're looking for. 1 minute and it will be spawning. So looking to continue with that neutral objective stacking. But to go back to what you did say, Trevor, I think Detonation focused me when they sometimes have gotten a lead. It's one of the teams that feels a bit pressured to make a play. They have a very slow average game time. It's because they're not too quick at closing out their games.
Well, this time around, Yutapon and Harp, they start the fight. They ultimately lose the fight. The return damage from Make It Rain. And Brance stepping back with that double up is meaning Harp and Yutapon continue to be bullied just a little. They're not conceding CS, it must be said. Both bot lane is sitting on the same, respectively equal, both middle and top. But again, seeing a lot of trading, and Croc and Steel haven't yet gotten involved for that secondary sort of third gang.
It's one of the things where DFM's bot lane here really wants to contest hard and making sure they get the reset first. Getting resets first as a bot lane just means you get the first move, which means you often get to be the one starting up the Herald. The main problem DFM is finding themselves in right here is that they're now on reset. That means that there's a window now that Loud can look, and as you can see right now, tinowns push at the mid lane, Croc around as well. Level 8 for tinowns here.
And they're going to start off this Rift Herald, as you mentioned. Steel is pushing up. Yaharong will be able to catch that wave. Robo is keeping Ebby busy, but look at the supports. So a lot of potential members gathering around the Rift Herald. It's down to 4,500 HP. Sejuani will be into the river a little bit later as the Sleepy Trouble Bubble from tinowns will delay Yaharong. It's basically a 1v1v1v1v1 as now the players are starting to converge. It's Loud that have gathered enough members and pushed DFM away. I mean, it's literally all 10 players in the top half of the map.
Yeah, you can see they're still looking as well. And this is the power of the Zoe and these chokeholds as well from tinowns. Just continuing to land these bubbles. And with no cleanse available, all DFM can look for is a Poppy ultimate and see if they can get the steal.
Oh man, now all of a sudden Steel and Ebby, do they get jumped on? The Rift Herald is still alive. It managed to reset, got back up to full now, reset down to 2,500. Harp looking for the engage, level 5. Battlestar goes out.
Oh, that's
Sleepy,
great ult.
Trouble, Bubble, catches onto Yutapon. He cannot do a thing. The Herald is, however, secured on the side of DFM. Now Yutapon's running away for his life. Getting caught by Make It Rain. Has fired at the Moonlight Vigil. Gets caught by the auto. Double up, waiting for the cooldown. Sleepy, Trouble, Bubbles dashed away from. But the flash forward from Brance gets himself the kill. The re-engage from Steel will not be able to find anything. The bandage toss from Sejuani, forced to flash for his life. Now all of a sudden tinowns gets himself one. Everybody's in the jungle, and Ebby has got one. Looking for more. The Battlestar takes him out. 9 kills. it!
And what an overreach for DFM. They get the Herald, they want to disengage, but they want more, and immediately Loud, they punish. tinowns on this Zoe. Isn't it just a fun champion seeing how it all went down? Let's have a look at the replay once again, because it starts out with a great zoning ultimate from Brance as well. Big credit though to Steel, who manages to steal the Rift Herald, and this is where you just want to bail out. There's still so many tools for Loud to continue the fight, but I think as we move forward, this is where it's messed up. Yaharong stays around for too long to look for a play. You don't do damage on the Taliyah just yet, and Steel wants to follow up with it, but this is where tinowns punishes. He comes in, he steals the flash, he still has to stopwatch, and great teamwork from Loud, who actually manages to bounce back in a teamfight setting. Something that really lost the game against Beyond earlier has now won them a fight here against Detonation.
Look at this energy, Guldborg! It's Worlds, baby!
Oh, it had to be there.
Loved that team fight, and I would like to highlight the Kraken Slayer at 10 minutes and 55 seconds for Brunch, 2-1 and 3. tinowns is 3-0 and 2 on that Zoe, and he picked the Zoe into the Taliyah. So definitely doing what you want to see, and I think it is crucial because we were talking a little bit about the approach to draft on red side, and I think for at least these first fights, Loud are going to be pretty happy.
Yeah, they are definitely happy about this one. Remember, they're the team that stacked up on Drake early as well, which means that just in 10 seconds, we're going to have that next objective available. Robo does have that teleport, so does Ebby if they want to fight. They are not unleashed yet, so if they want to join, they'd have to do it on a turret.
Oh man, right now, tinowns is under a little bit of pressure. And all of a sudden, Steel is going to use that Hex Flash over the wall. Steel's holding on. Not going to be able to find any CC to connect, and tinowns was forced to flash away to safety just to respect the engage.
And just look at Steel. He looked at them, and he had to flash.
Yep.
The gaze of that man.
It's about sending a message, you know?
It's about war. It's about forcing that flash and just make him go away. It's not going to make them go away from the objective nonetheless. It's still very much priority in the favor of Loud. And once again, it's the same story as earlier. Bot lane is pushed in. Brance joins the fight. And just speaking about Brance as well, this was a guy that was subbed in mid-split. He's 18 years old. Robo?
Rob's Day. Rob's Day. Rob's Day. Vamos Loud! Hashtag Rob's Day. 2-1 and 3. It's okay.
For me and all the confused reviewers out there, what is Rob's Day?
Rob put a tweet out, Robo put a tweet out saying that for all Brazilian fans, get behind him. He had pretty much every Brazilian flag possible on glasses, hat, scarf, and he decided it's Rob's Day, and CBLOL just got behind him, and so did I. That's it. It's that simple.
It is Rob's Day indeed, and it might even be Loud's Day if they can equalize the day with the score as well. But they're not going to be looking for a dive just yet, but they are maintaining control.
I'll give you this. It was Loud's evening, because daytime did not go their way. It's been a long time since that game.
I mean, if we go on like this, it might be their nighttime as well.
That's the case. Right now, Loud, 2 dragons up, 4 kills up. It is only 1,000 gold. I think it is crucial to keep that in mind. Because Robo this time is going to look to re-engage. Winter's Wrath forward, gets the stun up, but caught out by the Dark-Hidden Blade. Turns to re-engage. There's minions doing a lot of work, and Robo is feeling the Sejuani. He's got the level advantage, he's got that Balmy Cinder, and looking to keep Ebby busy. There's no support coming from anywhere else.
Yeah, and crucially as well, he hasn't been back yet after that. He's still staying around here. He still has that teleport. He still has the possibility to just clear up the minion wave, hit up that recall, and then come back with the items. And you know what? That's exactly what he's going to be doing. Of course, the next objective to fight for will be the Rift Herald as well. There's possibilities for Loud to move their bot lane up towards the top side if that's what they're looking for. It's still 1 minute and 30 seconds, so there's loads of times in terms of where you want to apply that pressure, but you can clearly already see it with the map move now. Support, moving up, looking to take charge.
I mean, the itemization, at least for the last couple of moments, there was a couple of mythics on the side of Loud. It has literally just been balanced out by DFM. And for Loud, they were able to get those combat stats down early. Keep in mind, Croc has got himself that Blade of the Rune King. Looking into that Frozen Fist as the Alistar won't find its target. Yaharong steps forward, he's flashed for that. That's a great seismic shove backwards, locked in place by the Steadfast Presence, but there's not enough damage just yet. Yaharong is throwing out rock off the rock off the rock, but it's Steel that goes down first. Flash away from the Croc, gets on, blows cone, and Croc escapes thanks to that Heartbreaker.
It was a little messy from both sides, but in the end, Loud, there's still the team coming out on top, and we're still 40 seconds on the Rift Herald. There's still loads of time for you to come back, reset, and set it up. And even bigger, pressure. Brance still being down towards that bottom side of the map. Now it's just a race. Who can pick up the first turret? Is it going to be a DFM in the mid lane, or is it Brance in the bot side?
It feels like it's going to be, although Robo's going to try to dissuade the slight amount of CC. Allows Loud to get that first turret blood secured. They hold on for a little while longer before that mid lane tower dies, and for Loud now, they've extended that gold lead further. It's 2 minutes until the third dragon. That's a 17-minute Drake 3. As tinowns Paddle Star will get caught by the minions. That'll make Ebby pretty happy because that was a lot of damage.
But if you secure the Rift Hell now as well, you put yourself in a great position. This is a Rift Hell you can use to utilize either a gold lead in a side lane, or as Robo finds himself in the mid lane as well. He might be getting caught. Nope, he's out of there. Or just to have it as pressure in the mid lane as well when that third Drake finally comes up.
Ooh. Loud now setting themselves up for yet another fight. The Herald is once again available. Both teams, are you a little bit surprised at both teams' willingness to fight for these objectives? Because it has felt, other than the Dragons, everything else has been contested and challenged.
This is the Loud I know and have heard so much about from their own region. They're looking to take charge. They're not afraid to fight around their objectives. One of the things I really liked about this team was their lack of hesitation. It's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it really bites them in the back, but when they're in their form and when they're finding a lead and they just keep the pace going, that's why they're super difficult to play against. And as you can see, while DFM is around the same side of the map, there's no way they can match it, and they're not getting anything else elsewhere on the map either.
I mean, for Loud, the players of Robo and tinowns currently shining. Obviously, Brance doing a lot as well, but I just want to highlight the fact that this team winning their split here in summer, both Robo and tinowns came from opposition, came from Pain Gaming as a duo. And they're now stepping up and carrying this. The reason I want to talk about them a little bit, that Sejuani pick and Zoe from Phase 1 have been sort of the difference makers in the engages we've seen thus far. With 30 seconds until the next dragon spawns, you have to imagine they're going to be willing to fight. But Yaharong, on this first pick, Taliyah has got a lot of damage out. Not going to be enough to take down what is a very tonky Sejuani.
You may have a lead, but you can't disrespect them. There's still ways they can come back into this game. But yeah, I agree. I feel like tinowns really had some misplay going into the second game. Now, Ebby still looking to take charge of the enemy's blue side jungle. The deeper vision they can have for this objective, the better setup for when the Drake finally spawns. But
teleport.
As you said, teleport.
Teleport, teleport, teleport. Not going to find a target just yet. Glacial Prison. Glacial Prison. Come on, Robo. Find your target. DFM, what's your answer? How do you stop this down? Weaver's wall can work, and this is great from Yutapon. He's pushing the mid lane. Robo's going to caught out. The Umbral Chains won't pull him backwards, and Brance is stepping forward, looking for a target to pull it. Time down. Croc is going to heartbreak away the Poppy. Going to have that steadfast presence, and Ebby gets stunned up, locked up, taken down. Loud get another kill. They will get themselves another dragon.
And DFM, they just want to make that play so bad. But Loud, they're just in a way better position, and huge props to Robo once again, finding steal. The rest of Loud immediately collapsing.
Oh, so well played here, Loud. They are still only 2,000 gold up, but crucially, the game accelerator, the way to really look to finish cleanly, finish fast, is to look for that soul, look for that elder. And right now, 3 dragons at 18 minutes. Loud have got themselves set up for, let's call it theoretically, one more dragon fight, get that soul, and that's really how you can see them winning this game.
Most definitely, and let's just have a look at the replay once again. Oh, it's actually tinowns who find the bubble, and then it's just a no-brainer for Robo afterwards to find it with 3 other ultimates combined on top of it. And he does so much damage. You can see why they're really looking for it, why he's flashing forward, but even if he gets it, his own team is just not in a position to really follow up afterwards.
Can I give you a quick stat you're going to love?
Oh,
you're really going to love this one.
How do you know I'm going to love them?
I know this for a fact.
Okay, go on.
Do you know that Loud have been involved in both of the fastest first dragons of the day? Ask me how.
How?
In their game against BYG, Dragon number 1 was secured at 6 minutes and 35 seconds by Beyond Gaming. In this game, it was picked up by Loud in 6 minutes and 35 seconds to the second. They've been involved in both games with the fastest first dragon.
Improvise, adapt, overcome. That was the adaptation. They're trying to overcome what they had done earlier in the game, and now tinowns might be getting caught.
So good. tinowns is going to be able to escape for now. That Sleepy Trouble bubbled it so much and hasn't bought enough time. Loud arrive. The Glacial Prison's flashed away from it. Will lock Steel under the turret. He starts spinning the Poppy Copter and will send Brance away. Third re-engage is fantastic for Detonation. Focus me, but Epi gets focused down himself. Robo looks for another stun. Will find the Permafrost and lock down the kill for Croc, who's stolen away the shoves, the pebbles, the rocks. Manages to heartbreak once more. It's a double for tinowns. 4 more kills for Loud, and they are running away with this game.
Only one traded back for DFM, and as you said, they are most certainly running away with it. 20 minutes into the game, they're lacking their jungler. But how bold are they feeling? How much are they feeling themselves? Purple Worm has been starting up.
Purple Worm has been started quickest. This may be the fastest Baron of the day. I'm fairly confident on that. I will wait for it to be secured and ask for stats to validate it. So Loud on the day will have the fastest Baron.
Oh, they're waiting for their member.
Will have conceded the fastest dragon and will have secured the fastest dragon. Can I get a stats confirmation on that, and can we make Dash ask the analyst desk about it? Because quick stats are also his passion. He knows it. Break down this fight for me, Guldborg.
Yeah, and I mean, it's... I was not ready for that transition, by the way. I thought initially this was the fight that was going to work in the favor of DFM. But the, once again, just the willingness to pull the trigger from Croc to just flash over the wall to set it all up. I legitimately thought this was going to be another Pentacle had Harp not find the Polarize in towards the turret. But even then, tinowns, with that set flash as well, immediately ults forward, finds it, and Paddle Star for a double kill. Just great stuff from the side of Resilience. And let's have a look now as they're still looking for fight.
Oh, what? Where did Harp go? Literally, where did he go? I didn't see the damage at all. 1.4k damage from Brance on MF. If we do get a replay, that has to go slow-mo because my old man eyes did not see it. Rebel Baron power play activated. 2 minutes left to go.
Surely not.
Inhibitors being focused down. We may be on track for the fastest game of the day as well.
Oh, most definitely. And even if you're not, they're just pushing in the mid lane or bottom inhibitor, and then still tinowns in the mid lane, shoving in a wave as well. They can just keep the rotations going. But they're actually going to push them out here just from their own base. Very greedy path to take, but there's no way for DFM to punish them right now.
Dun, 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 dun. The engage comes up from Steel. Not going to be able to do a lot more. Ebi has just spawned this second. No teleport available. Inhibitor secured in the bottom lane.
Yeah, most definitely. But it also just feels like now they're just waiting for the pressure to come through. They're looking to find a RAF point of attack. They're not really looking to commit to anything too much, I say, as an engage comes through.
Does indeed. The bullet time's flying across Harp. Steel is the next target. Chunked down. Ebi forced to run for his life. Robo goes over the wall, but doesn't find the target just yet. Yutapon will just about go down as Croc will heartbreak his way forward. Another tower falls. The inhibitor's being focused as well. We are on track for the fastest game of Worlds 2022.
Yeah, 2 members down, 3 members actually with Epi as well. Minion wave coming in here as well, and they can definitely look for it. Ultimate comes through, but Cannon Minion is still there, and Sleep, but no one's enough to actually punish it.
Guldborg.
What?
Improvise, adapt, overcome. Earlier today, Loud lost to Beyond, and that was the fastest win of the day. Right now, Loud want to reclaim that. Nexus turret #1 is being focused. That's the bunch line ace underneath the Nexus turrets, underneath the Nexus, and the fastest win of Play-Ins Day 1. Loud take down DFM.
Loud strike back, and I really thought that they were just going to try and set up for the Dragon, keep DFM pressured in their own base, but DFM had enough. They looked for a fight, and that find allowed Loud to silence Detonation Focus Me.